the lead goes so far back?
Hi there. This first adventure takes us to a little place called Carp, which is outside of Ottawa, the capital city of Canada. It takes us to a unique historical site called the Defenbunker.
So come along and check it out with us.
Hi, I'm Ken.
And I'm Kat.
And we're the Traveling Wildberries. Defenbunker is a 4-story, 300-room, 100,000 square foot underground bunker and was meant to house 535 Canadian government officials and military officers in the event of a nuclear war. Shrouded in mystery, the Defenbunker, nicknamed after then Prime Minister John Diefenbunker, was designed and built in secrecy during the crest of Cold War fear between 1959 and 1961. The name of the facility was given by a Toronto Star journalist who exposed the story of its development.
As the Cold War began to heat up, Canada had to move quickly to attempt to protect the government in case of a nuclear attack. The large-to-scale architectural model of the bunker, videos and panels found in this open room describe the building process and the controversies surrounding the construction of the Defenbunker. Over 1,000 workers were involved in the construction of the 929 square meter or 100,000 square foot building. The main structure required 24,320 cubic meters of concrete and sits on 1.5 meters or 5 feet of compacted gravel to help absorb the shock from a nuclear blast. This is the suite where the leader of Canada would have lived and worked in time of nuclear conflict. The Prime Minister's suite consists of 3 rooms: the office of the Prime Minister's secretary, the Prime Minister's office, and the Prime Minister's bedroom. The first room is the office of the Prime Minister's secretary. Defenbunker's private secretary would have answered correspondence, coordinated his daily appointments, typed memos, and gathered anything the Prime Minister needed. The adjoining room is the Prime Minister's office. It was here that the Honourable John George Defenbunker, the 13th Prime Minister of Canada, and the namesake of what is now known as the Defenbunker, would have carried out his leadership role in the time of war. Defenbunker served as Prime Minister from June 21st, 1957 to April 22nd, 1963.
Just heard the siren sound of national alert. All of us pray that it will never be required as a reality.
OSAX, which stands for Ottawa Semi-Automatic Exchange, was a communications hub within the Canadian Forces network. It was equipped with 2 Burroughs B4800 computers to handle the 100,000 messages a month that passed through the facility. Although these computers are not original, they are a suitable representation of what would have been here. Only people with a very high security clearance were allowed into OSAX. The brightly decorated Canadian Housing and Mortgage Corporation office was prepared to continue its role for the Canadian government in an emergency. The offices to the left reflect the design and technology found within the Defenbunker during the 33 years it operated. The Emergency Government Situation Center, also known as MGov-CITCEN, is divided into 2 areas. The Situation Center contains the charts, maps, video monitoring equipment, and overhead cameras used to track nuclear events and the subsequent fallout and consequences. The status board, labeled the MGov Facilities Board, shows the activation status of the other various regional bunkers. On the right side of the partition dividing the room is the Casualty and Damage Assessment area. It is here that the impact and result of attacks on the civilian population could be tracked, updated, and displayed on the backlit status map. This map indicates the geographic location of nuclear explosions, which would be pinpointed according to NORAD command reports. The alert status board adjacent to the backlit map would have been kept up to date during any conflict. The War Cabinet Room is where all high-ranking ministers and personnel would have met with the Prime Minister and Governor General to make top-level decisions to govern the country during a crisis. The 8 chairs on either side of the table are where the Cabinet Ministers would have been seated. The chair alone at the head of the table was for the Prime Minister. Support staff would have been in the seats which line the perimeter of the room. A photograph of Queen Elizabeth II, Canada's sovereign ruler and head of state, overlooks the room. The 6 clocks above the door display the 6 different time zones within Canada. The television suspended from the ceiling is on a closed circuit to the Emergency Government Situation Center across the hall and would display up-to-the-minute information to keep the War Cabinet informed. The vault has a narrow corridor completely surrounding it with mirrors at each corner. This allowed bank guards to observe all sides of the chamber from one position. The vault would have safeguarded Canada's gold reserve. The main door of the vault weighs approximately 5 tons. The smaller door to the right was used to equalize the pressure and allow opening of the main door. The vault was designed to hold 800 tons of gold, which is approximately 65,500 bars. The freezer dry storage space was also designated as the bunker morgue and is divided into 3 areas. The main administrative area with lockers and desks, the dry storage space, which is gated off, and behind an airtight door is the walk-in freezer. Inside the freezer are racks to hold food supplies, and in case of fatalities, cadavers. The recreation room, located in the cafeteria, is an open space which featured tables, chairs, shuffleboard, dartboard, and table tennis. Bookshelves with reading material and games lined the back wall, and plants were situated throughout the space. All of this was done to create an atmosphere of comfort and relaxation. The emergency radio room was the backup communication center for bunker personnel if regular communications failed. The room contained both low-frequency and very high-frequency radio equipment. The primary link ran via a buried cable from beneath the bunker to Perth, Ontario, 60 kilometers away. The medical center walls are painted a soothing white and light blue. The center consists of 5 rooms: the operating room, a lab technician area, the doctor's office, pharmacy, and an infirmary. These rooms form a compact and self-sufficient hospital. In the event of a nuclear attack, the medical or health center would be staffed with personnel from the National Defense Medical Center in Ottawa. Those people allowed into the bunker would undergo radiation and health checks. The self-sufficient medical center was capable of providing diagnosis, analysis, and various treatments to the patients. On December 3, 1989, at the Malta Summit, Gorbachev and United States President George Bush Sr. declared the Cold War over. Canadian troops eventually withdrew from their posts in Germany, military spending was cut, and the air raid sirens spread across the country were removed.
So there you have it, a condensed tour of the Defenbunker in Carp, Ontario, Canada. As usual, these interesting places offer a much more immersive experience when you visit them personally. So if you ever find yourself in that area, be sure to check it out. Don't forget to subscribe so that way you can get updates as to when the new videos come out. Thanks for watching.